Hey everyone, this is Chris Crazyhouse here again on another Thursday night, drawing my butt off. Yes, here we are, folks. And as you can see, it is still October, and I wanted to be drawing some more Halloween horror, monster-inspired artwork. So tonight I am going to be drawing some zombies. And you know, zombies are one of my favorite subject matters to draw. I did one last year traditionally in my sketchbook when I first started doing these drawing my butt off videos, and I want to do another one tonight. So I'm going to be drawing two zombies tonight actually, and the theme for these zombies is zombies rising. So I'm going to have one zombie kind of coming out of the ground and the other one coming out of a pool of water. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw them traditionally in my sketchbook, because that's just easier for me when I'm drawing zombies. I can really get into the details I want. Then I'm going to ink them over in my sketchbook just to make sure I get all the dark parts good. Then I will put it into the computer digitally. I will go over those dark lines in some digital inks. Then I will color them vector-wise in Adobe Animate. So that's what we're going to be doing tonight, folks. You know, I want the darks to look good, but I want to make these very, very colorful, because I do like making my zombies very colorful. They're never just your typical flesh colors. I like to go all out with lots of like neons and stuff like that when I do zombies. So that's what we're going to be doing tonight, folks. I hope you want to stick around and join me. And just as a little something different for this month, I will be playing some music in the background, a little bit here and there, but I'll also be talking about some of my favorite zombie movies and those movies that have inspired me to do this type of artwork. So I'll be discussing that a little bit while I'm drawing, and you guys can listen in, chime in the live chat or in the comments section if you please. I'll also be posting a poll on my Patreon at the same time that just talks about, you know, my top favorite zombie movies, and I'll post those. That'll be on my Patreon only, so my Patreon people can participate in this discussion. So that's what we're going to be doing tonight, folks. Hope you stick around and join me. Make sure you go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel. And I'm going to hit the intro and then jump right into drawing some zombies rising. Let's go. So as I'm drawing this zombie here, I'm just going to give you guys, we're just going to discuss like some of my favorite zombie movies and kind of my inspiration for how I create zombies when I draw them. So my earliest influence obviously was the George Romero trilogy of zombie films. That includes the original Night of the Living Dead, that was in black and white, Dawn of the Dead, that's where they get trapped inside the mall, and the last one, Day of the Dead, where they're in that underground bunker and they're just kind of stuck there, and they're fighting each other more than even fighting the zombies in that movie. But that was my original inspiration for as far as drawing zombies way back when. Like I remember watching those. To give you an idea of the timeline when I first saw those films, I always associate those original Romero films with Ninja Turtles. That sounds weird, but at the time I remember Ninja Turtles was the most popular thing as far as toys go, and I remember watching a marathon of the George Romero zombie movies with my dad right before he went and bought me some Ninja Turtle toys. So I always associate one with the other in my mind. That should tell you how long ago I watched those movies and why I probably should not have been watching those movies. But for me, they never really gave me nightmares. Like I said before, a lot of monster movies and stuff I always thought were just fun. just creative fun and kind of silly, so it never really bothered me in that way. I've seen other films that have more realistic violence that bother me more than these zombie or monster movies do. To me, like, a monster movie is a safe space for me. So that was my very first and early influence, was watching those films. Moving on, like, as far as my own tastes go, like when I started developing my own taste in films, I always enjoyed Return of the Living Dead. That's the one where those two idiots, they hit a cauldron or something like that has a zombie in there, and the gas gets out, and then they turn to zombies, and then the cloud goes up into the air and causes it to rain down on the graveyard, and that brings back the dead. That was always a fun movie. I love the practical effects in that movie, and I also love that movie is actually a little bit funny. It's almost like a dark comedy as well. The same with the Evil Dead trilogy. While some people don't consider those monsters zombies, I kind of put them in that category. I know it's more, I guess it's more demon possession, but they kind of have a look to them, kind of like zombies, the Deadites. And that sort of inspired my artwork as well. The way I draw zombie or dead monsters is the Evil Dead trilogy. The way they distort the faces and everything when they create those characters, that inspired me a lot in the way that I draw my monsters as well, because they're kind of creepy, but like I said, that those movies also had a comedic tone to them as well, even though they were very gory at times. Moving on, as I got older, you know, I guess you're supposed to get quote unquote more sophisticated taste in movies, but I've always still enjoyed zombie movies. And what's funny is how popular zombie movies have become these days. Like, it's what shows like The Walking Dead. I remember when The Walking Dead comic book first came out. A lot of people don't know it was actually a very popular comic book. I remember when that started and just really enjoying it. Now, I'll be honest, I've never been a fan of the show because I've been such a fan of the comic. Like, the show really takes the comic like loosely based and kind of makes its own story out of it. It definitely doesn't really it follows it very vaguely. So I couldn't get into the show just because it went so off track with what the comic book was. So I never really got into it. But I do appreciate the fact that I guess zombies have become popular. Like, when I liked zombies, I was always considered weird for liking that kind of stuff. Like, my mom used to think something was wrong with me because I liked movies like Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead and stuff like that. She would always she was one of those women that would always kind of like hide around the corner because she was scared to watch it. And she'd be like yelling at me like, what is going on in there? What are they doing? Like, turn that off. Like, that was my mom. It was always funny. I always have funny memories thinking about that stuff. But I was the only one in my house really into that type of horror. And it's funny now because my family, they love The Walking Dead. They'll sit and watch marathons of it. But I was like, okay, so when I watched this stuff, I was weird. But now it's okay. So everyone watches it. So now it's socially acceptable to watch stuff about zombies all of a sudden. So I always laugh about that. I get on them about watching like Game of Thrones as well, because I was a fantasy fan, and I said, okay, so now that it's socially acceptable to like fantasy, now you guys like it. Now it's not weird, and you don't want to send yourselves outside to do something else and not watch this all of a sudden. When I was a kid watching it, or a teenager watching this stuff, you guys always wanted to make me leave the house and do something else because it was corrupting my mind to be into this stuff. But now all of a sudden it's okay. So I always chuckle about that to myself. But yeah, I mean, those were my earliest influences as far as zombie cinema. You guys can let me know in the comments or in the live chat what were some of the ones that you enjoyed the most. Alright, my good people, here we are at the intermission, and I have finished the first zombie in my Zombies Rising vector art that we're doing tonight. And as you can see, I went as colorful as possible in finishing this zombie. And I'm thinking about putting this on my Patreon as well for some clip art. So if you guys are members for that clip art level on my Patreon, you guys will be able to download this artwork once I upload it. Okay, so just to take a look at what I've done here. Like I said before, I drew it traditionally in my sketchbook, and then I kind of went over it with some Sharpies just to get where all the really dark parts are, because I think that's very important, at least for me, when I'm drawing zombies, is to make sure those shadows, those really hard shadows, are great, because that adds to the scary atmosphere. Way back when I did the animated short called The Zombie Takeover, that was kind of my way of putting the zombies together in that. And through that, that's kind of inspired how I draw zombies from then on. Okay, so I did that film way back in, damn, when was it? Was it 2003? I started in 2003, the summer of 2003, and I think I finished like right at that Halloween in October. Okay, and I remember because I had moved in between that, because I was living with some roommates, and then I got my first place by myself at the same time. I was 23 years old, and then I finished that film, and that was my first horror film that I ever put out there. Okay, so that was how I came up with this kind of design for zombies. So I hope you guys like what you see so far. And if you like my artwork, like I said before, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to this channel, but also make sure you go ahead and pick up some of my products. I have lots of products on my online store. Holiday season is coming up, and I would advise you guys get in there now, because from what I understand, from what the Postal Service told me, it's going to be very slow this year as far as deliveries go, and I still go through the Postal Service just because it's easier for me to do that. So please, if you want to order any books like comic books, posters, or stickers, and graphic novels, make sure you go ahead and get those orders in now, because that'll make it easier for me to get it to you. I mean, unless you just don't worry about it getting there late, just to let you know. I always let you know when I ship anyway, so I will definitely send it. But if you want it for the holidays, like if this is a gift for somebody, start putting those orders in now. That way it helps me get it out to you as soon as possible. So go to my online store. The links will be provided in the description box as well as the comment section. You can also support this channel, as always, by becoming a Patreon of Chris Crazyhouse. Like I said before, there's a poll on there now talking about my favorite zombie movies. You can vote and say what's your favorite zombie movie out of the ones I put there, or even in the comment section if you want to write down one that I may have missed or never saw. You can go ahead and put that in the comment section on that Patreon post. And like I said before, the art that I'm doing now will probably appear as part of one of my Patreon tiers. So if you're one of the tiers that gets the clip art, which is $8 a month, you'll definitely be able to pick this up. Okay, so I'll be posting that very soon if it's not there already by the time I've recorded this. So I'm going to play an ad for some of my products, and you guys can go pick it up. I'll post up. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied here. You guys can go and look in the links in my description box in the comments section, and I'm going to play a quick ad for my products, and then I'm going to go right back into drawing another zombie. This one, the one I drew before, kind of was coming out of the ground. This next one, I'm thinking about having her come out of water, and it'll be more of a female zombie. You know, I don't think you'll be able to tell based on how I mess up the face. So that's what we're going to be doing, folks, in the next section. So make sure you hang around, and we'll talk more about some of my favorite zombie films and projects. Let's go. So, jumping back in once again, talking about some of my favorite zombie films. As I got older, my taste started changing a little bit, and I started branching out to see different types of horror films or horror movies that I might have missed out on. And one of the ones that I found was the Italian zombie films by Lucio Fulci. Those are the ones that I really enjoyed a lot, and they had a big influence on my own animated filmmaking when I started doing horror films and animation. Lucio Fulci's Zombie, or sometimes it's called Zombie Island. That's the one where this woman, her father comes back on a boat and he's dead, and he becomes a zombie. So she goes to the island where he went to find out what had happened to him, and she finds out that this doctor there has been doing all these like voodoo experiments and has been bringing the dead back to life. So first of all, the fact that this zombie film does not use like the modern version of zombies, they actually go back to the classic idea of what a zombie is, which is a reanimated body brought back through voodoo rituals. So just the fact that they even went back to that was interesting. And, it talks about the whole, how the world is cursed because of that. And I just love the way those zombies are designed. I love the practical effects and the makeup. I remember seeing the cover of this movie as a child and not being able to rent it because being a child, you can't rent movies that are for adults. But I remember the cover of this film always creeping me out, where it's like the zombies just decrepit, decomposed face, and the title of the movie, and then the subtitle of the movie is "We're Going to Eat You." So you can imagine a child seeing that. But like, it stuck with me so much that I always wanted to see that movie. And when I finally got a chance to see it when I was in college with a lot of my buddies there, and we just kind of sat in the dorm room and watched it. And of course, young college age males, we're cracking jokes through the whole movie. We could have easily done a whole like a mystery science theater version of this film, because we're just roasting and talking trash through the whole movie. But I still enjoyed it, and I enjoyed the experience of watching it. So I remember watching that. I remember my friends as I think it was like as a gift to me, they actually took me to the movies to see 28 Days Later, because they knew how much I like zombie movies. I remember us all sitting there and watching that, which I know that sometimes people don't consider that proper zombie film, but it basically fits the zombie aesthetic, okay, where people are trying to survive in this post-apocalyptic world where people are, as soon as they get bitten or they get the blood of these creatures, they change. It's very much like a zombie film. So, I think I still fit it into that genre. I think it actually was done very well, by the way. I think they did a very good job at that version of a zombie film. So, a lot of people enjoy the remake of Dawn of the Dead, the one that was done by Zack Snyder, and that's, like I said, is a remake of the one done by George Romero years ago. And I like both films, but for completely different reasons. I think the newer version does do a good job as far as like the characterization and the people interacting with each other. But in a weird way, sometimes I still prefer the original more than the new one. In fact, I still watch the original Dawn of the Dead yearly. Like, that's one of the ones I always have to watch during every October, and I just enjoy watching it. And what's really good, I actually found the extended version. That's very hard to find, because that version was, I think, printed only in Europe, and it's hard to find, but I found it. And just seeing like the extra scenes, just like little snippets here and there that are added on to scenes you already know, but just seeing it there, like, it just gives it more of a completion as far as the film goes. I mean, I still enjoyed the original, but I like seeing those extra scenes in the European edit, I guess I should call it. So I'm trying to think if there's any other ones that I've liked over the years, but I mean, that's pretty much it as far as zombie films go. Like, my top few that I like a lot. And I hope that you guys could, if you want to share any of your experiences in the live chat, or in the comments section about zombie movies that you like, please feel free to do so. If there's any ones that you might have seen that I missed, or if there's any ones that you'd like to talk about, go right ahead and you can conversate with each other or just conversate with me in the comments. So here it is, folks, the final zombie that I've drawn here, my zombie rising theme night here on Drawing My Butt Off. And like I said before, this one I wanted to make it look like they were kind of coming out of water or some sort of sludge or liquid. Maybe it could even be toxic waste, whatever you want to envision in your imagination. And like I said, this is a female zombie, and you could tell that she probably had a nice little perm going on for herself in real life, but has since deteriorated since the zombie apocalypse started, and she's still kind of looking very scary here with the open mouth. And I kind of wanted to do a different viewpoint as well, so I did the 3-point, but the 3-point with the face kind of facing upward, like she's kind of trying to come out of this sludge here, and see the mouth opening up and there's holes on the side of the face. Just real weird and gruesome. Fits definitely into the theme for what I'm going for tonight. But I hope you have enjoyed watching me create these zombies, as well as sitting back and discussing the different types of zombie movies out there that I like and that you like, or even ones that I haven't seen, because there are a lot of them that a lot of new ones that I have not seen at all. Okay, like you know, the Train to Busan, and I like a lot of the foreign ones. I haven't seen those yet. So maybe that's something that I can get into as this year goes on, before the fall season is over. So once again, guys, thank you for joining me. I appreciate you as always. And thanks for those who have been very supportive, those who have been Patreons, and those who have just been supportive on the channel, liking and sharing my videos. I do appreciate that, and giving your comments. I always love seeing your comments in the comments section. just to let you know, there's also some great t-shirts on my Teespring store. So if you're so inclined, if you want to get a t-shirt or something to wear, some of my artwork that you want to actually wear around, you can go get that on my Teespring store. The links will be in the description box as well as the comments section. We got a Halloween themed one called the Pumpkin Witch that I think the ladies will like a lot, especially if you want to be a pumpkin witch yourself. So thanks again, guys. I appreciate you. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe to this channel so you always know when I upload new content. And make sure you go ahead and like this video. And like I said before, I love the interaction in the live chats as well as the comments section. So if you ever want to comment or say something or just let me know whatever your favorite thing is, or if you enjoyed this video or whatever, please just go ahead and do so. I always appreciate seeing it, and I'll always try to get back to you as soon as possible. Anyway, guys, this is Chris Crazyhouse signing out. Peace.